Hey folks, look at this big pile of stuff that followed me home. So the story behind this is I was helping out my friend clear out a house of audio equipment. He took what he wanted, I took what I wanted, and the rest went to Goodwill, basically. And I ended up with this stuff. So I got a couple of VCRs, a receiver, a CD player, and a cassette deck. So let's start at the bottom, shall we? This is the one that everybody on Twitter was oogling and going, oh my god, I'm in love. At least I know Eva in particular said that, and that made me smile a little bit because, I mean, just look at it. It's so whimsical in its design. Look at these big transport control buttons. I mean, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a JVC HR 120U video cassette recorder. A VCR, not a VHS player. Thank you very much. Has programmable controls down there. Has the good old-fashioned push-button tuning. So that kind of dates it by itself from the early to mid-'80s, I would say. And the first thing I noticed when looking at it is that there's a tape stuck in it. E.T., the extraterrestrial. So I don't know how good of a sign that is. I don't know if maybe the eject mechanism is stuck or we got some bad belts or something and that's why the tape is stuck in there. Or if somebody watched E.T. on this years ago and then never used it again. That could very well be too. But we're going to take a look at this. This likes to fall down. So above that we have a realistic VCR from the late 80s. I believe 1989 or 1990, maybe, somewhere around there. Late 80s, early 90s, I would say, based on the look of it. There is a sticker that says what it is, but I can't remember. We'll look at that later. So, this VCR, the Maritime Girl chimed in about on Twitter and said that this VCR was made by Sharp for Realistic for Radio Shack, which I thought was interesting, and so did she. I think she said that she expected Sanyo, and I wouldn't doubt it either, because Sanyo made VCRs for so many manufacturers, but yeah, this one's a Sharp, and I would expect good things from Sharp. You know, I don't have too much experience with Sharp stuff other than they're like little kitchen TVs and stuff like that, but I assume the VCRs are alright. We'll have to see. Hopefully the belts are good and the idlers are fine and all that stuff. We'll get into that. I should show off the transport controls are on the bottom there. You can see that. Look at that. Does do LP speed. It's interesting. So, it's a programmable VCR. Above that, we have a Yamaha Natural Sound R50, which is a very starter level receiver, as my one of my friends likes to say. But I kind of like these starter receivers when they're good quality. And this one caught my eye because it has a variable loudness control. And I really like those because sometimes loudness makes more of a difference. Like a curve like that makes it sound better in a room versus just adjusting bass and treble. It actually helps the sound a little bit. At least for my tastes. There's also a bass boost. So you could have loudness and a bass boost, which is like overkill. The one thing I did notice about this one is that the volume knob is very wobbly, and that is because the nut in there is loose, as you can see. So I just need to tighten that down, and it should be fine. Luckily this is keyed, so I can just slip that back on. It still works, it's just loose. Above that, we have a Yamaha Natural Sound CDX 520 CD player. Now, normally I don't grab CD players, but this one happened to have digital out on the back, so I grabbed it anyway. So hopefully this will be useful if I want to test digital audio sources, like let's say I'm playing with DAT tape or mini discs or DCC. It would be perfect for that. So that's why I grabbed it. I'm sure we can give it a test and see if it works. The one thing peculiar about this CD player, the tray is separate from the door. It's kind of hard to see that, actually. Let me use my light here. Yeah, you can see it's sort of separate from the door. So that's a bit interesting. And above that, we have a Yamaha Natural Sound stereo cassette deck K300. Ooh. Very basic sort of cassette deck from the time. It looks like it's pretty good quality, but it's basic. You know, it's got Dolby B and C at least, and it supports normal chrome and metal tapes. I doubt it. I don't think it's a 3-head machine. We'll see. Let me look in there. Yeah, it's not. It's your basic cassette deck, but some of these sound pretty good. So sometimes they're worth checking out just in case they do. I mean, if they don't, you can always donate them or sell them or whatever. So it's not that big of a deal. But this thing looked pretty clean, so I thought I'd grab it. And that is a tour of all the stuff. So why don't we look at the back end of all this? One thing I forgot to mention is the JVC VCR on the bottom did come with the remote. So we have the remote, but not for the Realistic, unfortunately. So, oh well. Not quite as good looking from the back, but here's the JVC. I don't know if there's a date code in the serial number or not. I doubt that 84 means anything. It does have aux inputs, and it uses twin lead and 75 ohm for your cable connections. The Realistic VCR is stereo, as you can see. It gets rid of the twin lead, and it just uses 75 ohm, as you can see there. August 1990. Okay, so the Realistic was August 1990. And the date code, the Radio Shack date code reflects that, too. And here's the Yamaha. It's Nippon Gaki Co. Limited. I don't know how to pronounce that, but as you can see here, has needs to be cleaned up. Definitely needs to be cleaned up, but it's got a grounding thing for the for phono there. It looks like aux input, a tape loop, bunch of antenna inputs there. Spring terminals for your speakers, which is fine by me. It's not a high-end receiver, so you know you can't expect banana plugs, I guess. And it does have some convenience outlets on the back too, which is very nice. I wonder when this was made. It's got to be the 80s. It's got to be like 1983, 85, something like that. Here's the CD player that we looked at, and here's the digital out. I forget if I said if it used Toslink or not. It doesn't. It just uses digital coax. But that's still nice to have for situations that I mentioned earlier, like when you're playing with digital audio. The CD player was made in August of 1989, same as the VCR, so how about that? Maybe they bought all this stuff at the same time during a sale. Who knows? And of course, here's where the cassette deck really starts to show its low-endness. Plastic on the back of here, but there's your tape loop. There you go. Not a lot to see on the back of that. But yeah, this is all the stuff we're going to take a look at. Okay, we've reached the point where we're going to test all this stuff. So I have it all plugged into a power strip here. Got a couple of these speakers that I picked up from the thrift store hooked in. And we're going to test the receiver, the tape deck, and the CD player. That's our goal for today. So, first order of business, let's see if the receiver works. Hey, relay's clicked in, that's good. Oh yeah, I also fixed the wobbliness in the volume knob. Alright. Loudness curve works. Ooh, we got a dirty balance control for sure. Yeah, controls need to be sprayed, but considering it's like 30, 40 years old, no surprise there. There's AM. That appears to be working too. Tuning is nice and fast. Very cool. Nice. Okay, so this appears to work. So that's a good thing. We got presets. The presets appear to work. Sometimes. It looks like these buttons are a bit dusty and old. Actually, it's the processing that's slow. How about that? Auto tuning mode. Let's see what that does. Auto tuning mode. Look at that. That's nice and fast. Wow. Cool. So this appears to work. The radio, obviously not with the radio going. Let's turn that auto thing off. Let's go to the tape monitor. Well, before I hook anything else up, let's test the tape deck. Give it a once over here. Power's on, that's good. Ooh. That belt's gone. Yep, belt's gone. I thought that would be the case. We'll have to see how bad it is and how easy it is to replace them, so... RIP cassette deck. Let's give the CD player a shot, shall we? The CD player appears to not even power on anymore. Not a good sign there. Oof. Well, at least the receiver seems to work. That's good. It needs to have the controls sprayed, but other than that, it seems like it's good to go. I wonder why this doesn't work. That's really weird. Oh, I plugged in the VCR by accident. That's why it's not working. Let's plug the right stuff in. Alright, let's give this CD player a try. There we go. Now it powers on. Helps when you plug the right stuff in, doesn't it? Hey, the tray opens. Looks like the belt's getting weak, though. Let's get a CD. Alright. For your listening pleasure, I have the Jeep Grand Cherokee Infinity Gold audio system. Let's see if this thing will read a disc, or and hopefully not destroy it. I mean, it was sitting in a rack system when I picked it up, so you'd think it would work. Hey, recognize the disc. Let's give it a shot.
Introducing the Infinity Gold sound system.
This is a state-of-the-art audio system with the latest CD technology, a full-featured premium quality stereo cassette player, and an advanced AM stereo, FM stereo radio.
Infinity Gold is a hard-driving sound system with plenty of bass. With crystal clear highs and resonant lows, it's designed exclusively for Jeep Grand Cherokee. With 8 loudspeakers in 6 locations, an invisible soundstage is created around you and your passengers. 2 high-efficiency 6.5-inch woofers in the front doors provide sound at the front of the stage. 2 large coaxial speakers in the rear doors provide wraparound sound at the rear of the stage.
2 tweeters at opposite ends of the instrument panel fire back across the stage to round out the sound and add clarity to the system. And you are...
I would say that works. And hey, this Yamaha sounds pretty good, even out of these cheapo speakers. Not bad. Not bad at all. So I have at least one good receiver out of it. The tape deck obviously needs belts. I mean, listen to that. Yeah, this thing just needs belts probably, which I'm hoping for Yamaha stuff isn't hard to get. I mean, I would think that you could find a belt kit for one of these, or at least measure the belts and figure that out. It thinks there's a metal tape in there for some reason. How strange. What happens if I stick a cassette in there? Does it change? Yes, it does. Okay. So that part works. Uh-oh. Cassettes don't like to come out. That's it's not a good sign. I don't like that. There we go. Kind of fixed it there. Cool. Yeah. This is going to need further diagnosis, but it sounds to me like the motor's just going because there's no belt there for it to apply tension to. So either the belt broke or it's just a mess of like goo now. So it might be a future video. Depends if I think this cassette deck is even worthy of it. It looks like it would be alright, but you know, depends how much the belt kit is too. It goes with this receiver, so I'm inclined to try and fix it if it doesn't give me a headache. If the belts are easy to change, for sure we'll do it. But yeah, that's a good test of the CD player works, the receiver works, but it has dirty controls and need to be sprayed. I accidentally plugged in the VCR and that appears to power up. So why don't we give the video stuff a small test as well? Let's try them out. Okay, I've got the VCRs plugged in, as you can see. This VCR appears to do nothing when I turn it on. Oh, there we go. Never mind. That switch wasn't working at first. Hey, the tape came out. Looks like they watched the movie and just left it where it was, so I guess this will be our test tape. Let's try the realistic first, because this is made by Sharp. And I'm quite interested in this, so let me turn the thing up there. Oh, look at this. Why is there stuff coming off the meter? What in the hell is going on there? That's very odd. I don't know what that's all about. It's not interference from the bottom VCR. Let's see what happens when I put a tape in. There it goes. Oh. Not a happy bunny, are we? Yep. All right, let's put this tape in here and see what happens. Doesn't look promising. And the other odd thing is that it's putting out audio, even though there's like nothing happening there. Is this just because of the channel? Like, what is going on there? Where's the channel up and down stuff? There it is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Is that just the sound of the static? I'll have to hook it up to a video source at some point and see. But it looks like the mechanism needs some work anyway. Yeah, that's not happy. Well, that's a shame. Let's try the JVC. Let's see if play does something. That sounds healthy. Stop it. Since they weren't kind enough to rewind the tape. Alright, I played it forward a little bit. Didn't eat the tape, that's cool. Oh no. There we go. Had to reset the mechanism there. Alright, let's try rewinding. Hey, that sounds healthy. Cool. Give you a better look at the timer controls there while it rewinds. So I let it rewind a little bit. Let's stop this and eject it, just to make sure everything is alright. Yeah, it appears to be rewinding. Let's... Oh my god. Why does it keep doing that? Maybe the mechanism needs a little bit of exercise. That sounds very healthy to me. Look at this. Look at this tape run light here. That's interesting. It's like, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's like flickering, pulsating. Look at the channel numbers there. That's cool, man. Oh, look at that. We got a tape counter there. Looks like it's the old kind of tape counter that my Zenith has, where it doesn't, it's probably not like an official tape counter, it's just kind of arbitrary to the machine. But that looks good, that looks promising. So it's looking like the older VCR is actually working better than the newer one, which I find funny. But this to me seems like it wants to work, but the mechanism just isn't particularly happy with me. So we'll get there. We will get there. If I put this on blue screen. Ooh, that's interesting. So there's a button here to put it on blue screen. I think what this audio level is static. So if I put it on blue screen, that goes away. But if I turn it off, that's probably snow coming from the tuner. That's interesting that it shows that. So I'll just leave it on blue screen. Do 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 do. A little bit of a whiny mechanism, but that's probably normal. Hey, look at that. Looks like it finished. Let's see if it came out in one piece. Yep. Yep. Looks fine. Cool. Wonder when this tape is from. It's gotta be... it's got Dolby B on it. Oh, wow. This looks like 1988, so I guess this VCR was last used in the late 80s. Interesting. That's weird. The mechanism doesn't seem to reset itself completely every time. Now the timer light's flashing for some reason. No idea why. Dude, it just doesn't turn on half the time. That's really flaky and weird. There we go. It's because the timer was on. That would do it. Maybe that's the reason that the mechanism wasn't resetting itself, too. Let's see. Nah. I think dried up grease has something to do with that. Alright. See if it plays. I don't know if I like that. Didn't eat the tape, it just didn't want to go. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound happy. So it looks like the mechanisms of both of these need some work. Don't know what kind of work, but I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. Maybe there's some belts or something that have gotten loose over time. Does fast forward work? Yes, it does. I hear motor strain. Yeah. Belts, dried up grease, idlers, something. Yeah, something mechanically is having a problem. So let me at least rewind the tape. Well, at least it's somewhat working. It's working a lot more than the realistic is, so... But every time I eject it, the mechanism doesn't seem to want to reset. Look at that. That's really strange. Well, here I have a new test tape now, so that's cool. Man, every VCR I run into has problems, but the problems here look like they're probably fixable. Yeah, I guess another VCR we can fix to put on the pile. I'm gonna have to evaluate it, but I have so many of these now that I'm just gonna have to evaluate which ones are worth keeping or not. I like the look of this one. Hopefully this is just an easy fix. Not sure. I like this JVC a lot. So if I can save this one, I want to do it, because it's like halfway working. Rewind and fast forward works, so maybe some dried grease or a loose belt or something is just preventing it from playing. But it's almost there. It is almost there. So that's a test of all this stuff I managed to get. Not much to write home about, I guess. Everything that involves a tape seems to have a mechanism problem, from the cassette down to the VCRs, but the CD player and the receiver both work, so that's cool. This just needs some control cleaner sprayed in it, and it should be good to go pretty much. So that's cool. That's a good find. That's cool. CD player works fine. That's also a good find. But these all three tape mechanism devices need work. So, yep. That was an analysis of all this stuff, and I think I came out okay. I have a few things to fix and look at, and I have a few things that just work. And the receiver working I'm really glad about, because I could definitely use this. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this little bit of an analysis video, and until next time. If you'd like to reach me on social media, those links are down below, and if you'd like to join our Discord chat, that link is down below as well. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.